The World Pool Masters is a very special event.
There's never going to be an easy match or an easy draw.
It's like a dream. It's a very big tournament, play the best players in the world.
There are 16 top world-class players.
It's a really strong field, really good mix.
It's called the World Pool Masters for a reason, so I've seen the draw, so it's not going to be a gimme. Tiger Lion's there.
Off the record, because I don't know who's the lineup.
You got the usuals like Ralph, Mika, Shane Van Bonen just won the US Open, so he's going to be dangerous. But he's never won outside of America.
Got all the Brits, Carl Boyers, Darren Appleton, Chris Melling.
Daryl Pleach is like steady.
Chang Jung Lin, he's won a couple of major tournaments over the last 12 months. Very strong player.
Then you have the defending champion, what's his name?
Guyonkin's a lady player this year. She's a very good player. She breaks very good. She's easy on the eye, which is always nice.
Nikos Ekonomopoulos gave him lessons like, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago in Athens. Obviously things have changed since.
Then you have the defending champion, Karol. He showed last year he's in terrific form when it counts.
Efren Reyes is back in the field, which is great for the game.
I just love his game. I think he's like a god.
He's probably the greatest player of all time. You can be in the semi-final in 2 matches, or you can be on the plane tomorrow.
It's difficult to win the World Pool Masters because you got the best pool players playing. The top 16 best pool players from all over the world.
This is the cream of the cream, so to speak.
It would be a nice topping on the cake, as I think that's the saying in English.
I mean, any of the 16, any of them could win it. It's so hard to pick.
I wanted to grow 2 inches. That's how the level is. Like, I wanted to win.
This is the PartyPoker World Pool Masters from the Barnsley Metrodome, England. An invitational knockout competition featuring the very elite in 9-ball pool. The draw includes 6 times Masters champion Ralph Souquet, twice World and US Open champion Mika Immonen, Filipino legend Efren Reyes and ladies champion Ga-Young Kim, together with the recently crowned US Open champion Shane Van Bonen and England's Darren Appleton. But first up, it's defending champion Karol Skowerski against another player with home support, Chris Melling.
I'm defending champion. This time is gonna be harder, I think, to defend this title. Last year the Polish players had an advantage because we were playing in front of our crowd. This time will be harder, so there will be a lot of British fans of pool. Chris Melling from Great Britain. So far I have played him twice. Unfortunately, twice I lost the matches. So I hope there will be the revenge. He is a very good player. He's very solid and looks very strong at the table. So it's going to be a tough match.
I've got quite a few supporters with me, and it's great to have that support. You don't always get it when you're abroad. The Philippines are brutal when you're over there. They cheer when you miss, they clap when you miscue, they clap when you scratch. So it's a funny game, and it's nice to have it in the zone court. Karol is a great player. He's won the tournament last year. There's no better place than to play the reigning champion first round. The last time I played him, I beat him 9-2. So obviously that should be in his head. Whether it is or not, it's a different matter. But I'll do my best, and hopefully I come out on top.
One of those players, Chris Melling, who always seems to be smiling. But will he be smiling at the end of this race to 8 racks? Well, I'm certainly smiling because my co-commentator is a former winner of this fine tournament back in 1999. Alex Lely.
Chris Melling wins the leg.
Hi Phil, looking forward to watch this great match. Skowerski, as said himself, more pressure now, being the holder. Sort of free-rolled last year in Kielce. And Melling, of course, one of the most talented strikers of the ball in all cue sports, I must say.
And there was the curse of the commentator, striking immediately. I agree with you, Alex. He cues the ball delightfully, and yet there, scratching from the break.
This gives Karol an excellent opportunity to get some feel for the table. And yet, pressure as well. Because this is a situation he must capitalize on. The key shot here would be the position on the 3-ball. If he sets himself up perfectly on the 3, shape on the 4 will be subsequently makeable.
Of course, here in Barnsley, Yorkshire's own Chris Melling is the man who's playing at home. Whereas last year, Karol Skowerski captured the title not only in his home country of Poland, but also in his hometown of Kielce. So it will be a very different experience for him, this.
And I must say, last year he won the title. Right before that he got to the final of the World Cup of Pool, the team event. And the year after on the European Tour he hasn't done a lot. As here, he has overdrawn the cue ball. And I don't even know if he can hit the 4 directly. Something you see quite often when a player out of the blue wins a major event. That sometimes for 2-3 years he'll be in a crisis and he has to regroup. When I won the title in '99, I had a crisis. Ortman told me he had the same thing when he won the US Open straight pool at the age of 22. I know GC from the Netherlands, when he won the world title 10 ball, has had some difficulty in producing the same consistency that he did before.
Well, I suppose when you reach a goal, and that was a major goal winning the World Masters, let's face it, it must be quite difficult to reset those goals.
And a nice reset there by Chris Melling after the scratch on the break, but a Chinese snooker has to cue over the 9 ball. Pocketing the 6 will give him automatic position on the 7.
And given the quality of the shot he's just produced, he did not deserve that.
Extension call.
Must avoid any unwanted side on the cue ball. Will make the cue ball curve away.
The cueing there was absolutely horrible. Didn't try and do anything, as Alex said, with the white. Just kept it straight forward. And even then he couldn't complete the pot.
Snooker type safety, short rail. Giving Chris Melling a lot of distance. Well, against most players this would be satisfactory for me, but not up against Chris Melling. You just don't know what to expect from him. He can slice it in, spin the cue ball, and take it from there. There is a safety on. It's not easy though. Might fancy the cut.
Length of the table bank, it rockets into the pocket. A typical Chris Melling effort. And now the rack, very much at his mercy.
Beautifully struck. Never holds back on any shot.
Hear the cheer when this one goes in. A couple of spectacular shots from Chris Melling in the first rack, and because of that, the Englishman is off to a flyer. He draws first blood. Welcome back to the PartyPoker World Pool Masters. Chris Melling has extended his lead to 2-0, making the most of the winner's break format. This is the start of rack number 3, and already the defending champion is in a spot of bother.
Yeah, and Chris Melling gets to break balls again, and it's all about copying the same speed and the same thickness of the hit. So where's the 2-ball going? Because the 1-ball found the side pocket. Means he will have to play for the 2 and he has a clear view on that ball. Worrying times for Skowerski.
Yes, this table is very inviting indeed.
So nice. He can hit the ball so soft. And many players, most players will work on developing a more compact cueing. But not Chris Melling. Maximum backswing length, maximum fluency. Needs to take care of his angle on the 6-ball. Would like to be approximately straight in on the 6-ball. That's why he's taking his time now.
He's got a fine pedigree, Melling, and one of the most versatile cuemen on the planet. Accomplished English 8-ball player, now on the bigger pool tables, showing his mettle, and he's been a main tour snooker player as well, with 147 breaks on his CV. In terms of pool, he's won the Portugal Open on the Euro Tour. He's won the China Open as well, which is a world ranking event. And you watch him play and you can see why.
All work done now. He's looking composed. Took his time there, had an open layout, and just when I say the word composed, he rattles the 8-ball.
Well, that was totally unexpected for a cueist of his caliber. Wow.
Extension called.
Just heard the referee there saying that the extension has been called. The extension is to the shot clock, of course, which is in operation in this tournament, Alex.
One timeout per rack. This is not an easy shot for Skowerski. Cue ball will travel. And the 9 is in the way. He's under the gun, Phil, Karol Skowerski. It was a tricky shot. He needed to figure out how to play it. And he had not made his mind up just yet, I assume. Most balls will be missed by players when they don't have a clear thought or concept of the shot yet.
One 8-ball missed by Melling, but not at the second attempt. Comprehensive. And look where the cue ball is. Super stuff. He did make one mistake, but it didn't matter in the end. So the Englishman capitalising on an error by the reigning champion, and he went on to break and run out rack 4 to build a commanding 4-0 lead. Melling already halfway towards victory.
Leading 4 racks to 0.
Look at this break off. The players cut the 1 ball, so they look for a 3/4 half ball hit to have a bigger chance of making the wing ball and or the 1 ball in the side pocket. Melling controlled the cue ball, and there's a clear view on the 1. Key shot will be the 5 ball. Needs to have the proper angle on the 5 to make all the traveling he needs to do to get to the 6 as easy as possible. He's now looking to leave somewhat of a straight angle on the 5 and draw back one rail. Needs precision then on his angle, and he has accomplished that.
He must be feeling very good at the moment, in complete contrast to the man who has yet to get a rack on the board.
Nicely positioned. Although Phil Melling is playing in an uncharacteristic tempo, taking some more time than when playing his A game. But that might not be a bad thing. Just making sure.
Well, he missed the 8 ball in rack number 3, but no such mistake there. And the one-sided nature of this contest looks set to continue. Indeed, it does. Chris Melling playing on home soil, on home base, if you like, in total command against the defending champion at the PartyPoker World Masters.
Rack 6, Chris Melling to break, leading 5 racks to 0.
Is it possible, Alex? Is it possible that the reigning champion could be whitewashed?
Well, the way that Chris is breaking, definitely so, Phil. Maybe the 5 does not pass the 9 ball to the corner pocket. But the first problem for Chris is to make the combination. He has a 1-3 combination. But Skowerski had that chance after Melling missed the 8 ball in rack 3. A big chance missed by Skowerski, and now he should only play to make the score 1 point better. And see how it goes from there.
And that's one of the beauties of the winner breaks format. If a player does get on a roll, they can string together an awful lot of racks in succession, and so comebacks are very likely. When Raj Hundal captured this title, beating Rodney Morris in the final, he was basically out with the washing and then somehow turned the entire match around.
He has an angle on the 4. Would have preferred, I reckon, to stay on the right side, on the lower side from this perspective, on the 4 ball. To have a more natural route to get towards the 5, because the 5, I conclude, does not pass the 9. This is not an easy shot if he wants to get close to the 5. More containing it would be to sink the 4 and leave position for a bank shot. A double on the 5 ball.
You know, Skowerski is trying to do something that's never been achieved before. This World Pool Masters started life in 1994. and since then, no one has ever successfully retained the title. We know that Ralph Souquet has lifted this trophy on 6 occasions, but he's never done so in back-to-back years.
I got very close, Phil. In 2000 I was up 2-0 in the final, but the Kaiser, he snitched it from me. A 6-time winner, an amazing feat, but still I must say Ralph Souquet is not having the best of forms this season, and he will fighting hard to make his presence felt also as a preparation for the Mosconi Cup. A lot of pressure on this shot. That is a nice stroke from Skowerski. Will give him some confidence back.
As will that. Well cued. It looks as though he's about to put his first rack on the board. And there's always a sense of relief when you do that. Whitewash averted. And Skowerski breaks in rack number 7. But make no mistake, Melling is still the man in charge. He leads 5-1. We've seen some Melling magic in this first round match in the PartyPoker World Pool Masters at the Metrodome in Barnsley. He leads by 5 racks to 1, but it was 5-0. Karol Skowerski, the defending champion, won rack 6, and that's why he's got the honour of breaking off in the 7th. The honour and the advantage. Or at least it should have been, Alex.
It should have been, but he didn't manage to open the rack well there. We see the 1 ball hitting the point of the side pocket. No ball down. Actually, the whole rack didn't open as it should have done. So control passes. Melling looking to play the safe. And if I were Skowerski, I'd look for signals in my opponent. How he is composing himself or not. Because Melling isn't looking all too fluent. He's looking solid. But there is still a chance to turn this match around. Skowerski looking to jump. An unorthodox jumping technique. An overhand grip makes it easier to jump the ball, but harder to aim well.
And now with the 1 on and the 2 very much in the open, Skowerski is grateful that the 3 and the 6 are tied up.
The 4 is tied up as well. Possibly the 4-7, aided by the 5 ball, are planted towards the corner pocket, but still Melling needs to solve the 3 ball first.
It's a very awkward rack, Alex. In fact, the most awkward we've seen in the match so far.
Well, Skowerski missed an makeable 8 early on in the match, and often you see that the table punishes the player that makes unforced errors. Was a beautiful stroke by Melling. Was a stun draw shot, very difficult tip position. What can he play from here? Could opt to play a bank the 3 ball. and go towards the 9-4.
Well, now in the space of 2 racks, the awkward one is now the open one. The next mistake could be the last mistake.
Not the best of safeties by Chris Melling. That's a good stroke by Skowerski. Look, if he now makes 5-2 and breaks, he has a chance. Still the underdog, but these are the chances you need to look for when trailing 4-0, 5-1. Especially with the winner break format, every match can be tilted.
Extension calls.
Taking the time extension here. It's a tough out, and I'll tell you what, if Melling doesn't make contact with the red 3 ball, it means Skowerski has ball in hand, and where the balls are, 5-2 would then be looming large.
He's looking at a 2-rail kick shot. A 2-rail escape needs to hit right before the side pocket. Beautiful shot by Chris. Took nerves of steel to hit it at that speed. Had the 3 ball collided with the 5 or 7, I presume no rail would have been struck. And after ball contact, a rail needs to be hit. Now I suspect we see Skowerski jump again with that overhand technique. More of a dart grip.
Could have been worse.
Almost a free roll though for Chris Melling. These are big chances for Skowerski. Can really hurt Chris Melling and plant a seed of doubt in the Englishman's head.
Well, again, I'll use the same phraseology. Could have been worse. Missed the pot. But it's not worked out too badly.
Well, Skowerski rewarded for that missed pot where he left a tough out for Melling. This is what he needs, and he needs to take this chance. 5-2 and breaking. That's what he's aiming for.
Last year in this tournament, Alex, we had 4 Polish players in the quarterfinals. It was a tremendous week for them in general. The likes of Wojciech Szewczyk and Matthias Snigocki, who got to the final. How has Polish pool in general been in 2013?
Well, after this miracle Masters in Kielce, Snigocki continued his run. Snigocki got to the final in the Masters to succumb against Skowerski. Skowerski has had a poor season, but Snigocki afterwards won the Kremlin Cup And he won the Euro Tour in Bosnia, where he was up against Kaplan in the final. Thomas Kaplan, another one of the Polish elite players. So Polish pool is doing good. It's just this man that has had some trouble to deal with those big titles and the new status in the circuit that has come with it.
But a televised victory over a high-profile opponent such as Chris Melling would be just what the doctor ordered for Karol Skowerski. It might reinvigorate his career, which at the moment is ailing somewhat. 3 balls away from winning rack 7.
That's a good hit. And it's not just about those 3 balls, this one rack making 5-2. He needs to dominate this match for the next 10 minutes at least, I say, to have a chance. Dictate a block of 2-3 racks.
Indeed, that's the case, but from 5-0 down, Skowerski now has genuine hope. He trails only by 5 racks to 2.
Rack 8, Karol Skowerski to break, playing 2 racks to 5.
A successful, productive break here would be golden for Karol Skowerski.
Two ball must stay. Unfortunately for Skowerski, the blue 2 ball dropped after the 1 ball found the side pocket. Had the cue ball stayed, it would have been an open table with an easy first shot. Now he has to come with a tester. Long 3 ball, cue ball pretty close to the rail, and the 8 and 7 in the way, since he'll stun the cue ball towards the long rail. Great shot. Knew that he'd be colliding with the 8 ball, and whenever there's a kiss, it's difficult to keep your eye on the ball, to focus on the pot. But he did just that.
And here we're seeing an interlude, a brief interlude maybe, but nevertheless evidence of just why he won this tournament 12 months back. He was very impressive then, and although Alex has said quite correctly that he's been out of form since, you know he's got the capabilities. And Chris Melling will be sitting there feeling a little powerless, praying here that Skowerski can't get the cue ball past the 8 to pot the 7. I think he can. So Alex, the comeback looks set to continue.
And he's looking in better shape. Walks around with some more charisma. Striking the ball better, although he almost snookered himself on the 7. This is what he needs. Getting back and mounting pressure.
We were talking about a whitewash not so long ago. Now we're talking about a possible full-scale fight back. The competitive nature of this PartyPoker World Pool Masters is being underlined in the very first match. It looked as though it was going to be a completely one-sided affair when Chris Melling established a 5-rack-to-0 lead. Now though, Karol Skowerski, the defending champion, breaks off in rack 9, trailing only 5-3.
No position on the 3-ball for Skowerski. It's a pity he dished the previous rack so nicely. Had to come with a great opening shot. But this time is forced to play a push out. And that means that he gives the initiative and choice to Chris Melling. You're always in a disadvantage having to play a push out because you leave choice to the opponent. If he likes it, he'll take it. If he doesn't, he'll give it back. And if he does not like it, you're likely to not like it.
It's basically a mind game within a game.
Yeah, the push out situation is where you can win a lot. The more experienced player makes a better shot selection. You cannot be too aggressive. You look for a position where only a conservative safety is available. Now this shot, I would look at clipping the 3 into the 9. That is what Chris Melling does. And then if that in that way you can control the 3-ball. Next thing to do is to look for a path of the cue ball. How to get the cue ball back.
Extension call.
Or very thin. So the 3 stays where the 9 is. And the pocket will be blocked by the 6. Or a little thicker onto the 9 so the 3 will drift towards the short rail. Chose to play a different shot. Oh. Sometimes it pays off. Unbelievable. He refused to give the table back to Skowerski. He thought and he considered, and then at the last instant decided to not play the safety but attack.
Well, what a fluke, what a time. And the pendulum is just about to swing back. It's good to be good, it's even better to be lucky. And Chris Melling is both. Or at least he has been in this rack. And he now has momentum regained. 6-3. What a boost for him. What a blow for Skowerski.
Rack 10, Chris Melling to break, leading 6 racks to 3.
Nigel Rees, the referee, calling out the scores there, and that tells us Melling is only 2 racks away from a place in the quarterfinals, and his break off there worked a treat.
Long shot on the 2, and as they say in the color of money to some players, luck itself is an art, and it's not about the luck but what you do with it. So Melling won that last rack out of a fluke. Can he use it to steer towards victory?
Well, the only negative here, and the reason for the grimace on the face, is that the cue ball is a little too close to the side cushion here to make this absolutely comfortable, especially for position on the 4.
He has a slight angle, so elevating the cue, he can stun the ball, needs to make sure to not jump it too much. Very nicely done. This is the Chris Melling tempo that I know best. Doesn't waste any time.
And now it's looking decidedly grim for the title holder. Melling 2 pots away from 7-3 and breaking off in rack number 11. And remember, this is a race to 8. The cue ball under the side cushion made no difference. The 9 dispatched and Melling on the hill.
Rack 11, Chris Melling to break, leading 7 racks to 3.
It's a cruel game, 9-ball pool. Chris Melling fluked a ball 2 racks ago, made a break and run thereafter. But that's in the nature of the game, and Skowerski must focus and try and do the same thing back to Melling. Take control, win a rack, and then start putting racks together with successful breaks. Now this combination 1-7, the difficulty is not making the 7 but controlling the first ball, controlling that 1 ball.
Oh dear. The crowd say, come on Chris. They know their man could be in for the kill.
I don't believe Skowerski really committed himself to that combination. Needed time to figure out the position of the one thereafter. Now what Chris needs to figure out, how to get straight in on the 3 ball. Is he going 1 rail towards the 9, or does he have a nice angle to go around the 7-5-9? 1 rail. This is perfect. Even if he leaves himself an angle on the 3, coming out short rail, long rail, he'll come in towards the 4. This means that he will have a lot of margin for speed control. Just make sure to see the 4. Interesting, chose to go to the long rail first for comfort. What he did just there allowed him to strike the 3 ball with more authority. This is clear sailing now.
Well, basically, the analysis of this, he's definitely been the better player. Of that, there is no doubt whatsoever. But ultimately, it was a timely slice of good fortune that gave him the second impetus. No one's ever successfully defended this PartyPoker World Pool Masters title. And Skowerski won't be the first, because he's been beaten, first match in, 8-3 by Chris Melling. Karol Skowerski's disappointing 2013 continues. He's eliminated at the first available opportunity.
I think I'm just a little bit disappointed for this match. I started just a little bit nervous, I think.
I don't really look at it as I'm playing another champion. Obviously, I look at it as it's another player. I mean, not sounding big-headed, I've beat the best in the world at every game, at snooker, at pool and at 9-ball. So I know I can do it.
Chris Melling then is through to the quarterfinals, and he'll face the winner of our next match between the Lion, Alex Paculion, and female star Ga Young Kim, here at the PartyPoker World Pool Masters.